Hello ladies and gentlemen, Section Coles here. As you can see, we have no games footage today, and that's because we're going to have a little chat. More importantly, we're going to have a little chat about things that I find interesting today in the gaming industry. Things that have really caught my attention, caught my eye, things that I've been following for a while now, that sort of thing. So we're really going to kick off straight away with a game that's become really popular on Steam recently, and it's not even a finished game. I want to talk about the Arma 3 alpha, which I downloaded the other day. And it's absolutely wonderful. Watching the trailers, I assumed that if I downloaded Arma 3, I would not be able to play it whatsoever. But I found that if I simply run it in a windowed mode, keep the graphics pretty low, even what is effectively a low-grade PC like mine can run it really well. And it's absolutely stunning, even on low graphics. And I was completely shocked by it. The alpha is actually pretty large. You get a 20-kilometer island called Stratus, which you can have a little run around on in the editor mode, and then you've got 4 showcases, which is an infantry showcase, a scuba showcase, a vehicles showcase, and a helicopter showcase. And what these do is each one of them is like a separate mission that gives you a nice little look into a different factor of the game. The infantry one has you assaulting a village. The scuba one has you disarming mines and then destroying a helicopter. The vehicles one has you stealing a armoured vehicle and then blowing shit up. And then the helicopter one has you dropping a quick reaction force down onto the ground. And all in all, I severely enjoyed what I've played so far. There's a multiplayer aspect to it, which I've not touched yet, to be honest. I'll probably get something on that later. But it's absolutely brilliant. It's £19.99, I think, on Steam right now, and by buying the alpha you get guaranteed beta access, as well as a free copy of the game when it's released. So basically you're buying Arma 3 for £20 along with beta release, and I think that's a great, just a generally great thing, because Arma 2 combined operations cost about just as much, I think. I'm not entirely sure, I'll have to check that, but I'd strongly recommend it to anybody who's a fan of Arma, because I've absolutely loved what I've seen so far. It's not that difficult to run, and it's an overall beautiful game. So go check that out. I strongly suggest it. And speaking of downloading things, that brings me on to my next topic, which is digital games. There's a lot of rumours going around that certain like the new generation of consoles are going to rely heavily on downloadable video games. And I'm just wondering if that's the right direction for consoles to take. I mean, the PC has taken the downloadable route, and it's come out very profitable. In theory, I kind of agree that consoles should take the same route, but only on the condition that the prices go down. I mean, the reason we pay so much for games on the console is usually because of the price, the costs to put it onto a disc, for the packaging and everything like that, and then shipping it off to different stores. But if they go for the digital route, they effectively cut out the middleman, and we get direct access to the games, and in theory it should therefore be cheaper. But if I know how consoles work, they'll find a way to make it just as expensive. Like, the other day, I was contemplating buying Modern Warfare 3 on the Games on Demand on Xbox Live, and it was £50. And this is a game that's been out for a good while now. I thought that was despicable. I walked into a shop the other day and I found it for £8, which is just ridiculous. The fact that Xbox Live is selling it for £50, a store's selling it for £8. That's not how digital download should work. I mean, that was a fresh copy of the game, not even pre-owned. And it just speaks so leaps and bounds about the business strategies of digital games right now on consoles. So I think if they can sort out the price, I'd strongly recommend they take that route. I mean, I don't exactly have massive sway in the gaming world, so I doubt that they're going to watch this and think, this kid's right, we should really sort this out. But I hope they do, because, I mean, I've started PC gaming recently, but I still love consoles. I love the accessibility of them. And it's so simple, and it's so easy for younger players to pick up. So I do hope they sort that out if they go for the digital route. And then there's another thing I want to talk about, which is sort of related to downloadable games, really. And that's EA. And I'm not going to talk about the whole DRM situation, because I think so many people have covered that, and there's no reason for me to sort of add my 2 cents to that, or 2 pennies. But as kind of an apology for the horrendous events of the opening day of SimCity, EA have offered buyers of SimCity an EA game of their choice from Origin. And what I was wondering is, can we consider this an effective apology, or is this more just bribery, if anything? Do EA really need to offer an apology for what they did? I personally think they do. If anything, games like Diablo 3 and The Witcher 2 have proved that DRM is a terrible, terrible thing, and always online games, especially when they're mostly single player, should just not happen. So I was obviously shocked when I heard that SimCity was like this, because I played the beta, and I really enjoyed it. I thought the beta was great. It was a really good game. And I very almost thought about buying or pre-ordering it until I heard about the always online thing, because my internet connection's terrible. I thought, if I get this game, I'm going to spend most of my time staring at a screen telling me that I can't connect to my own city. So I was really disappointed in that. And then my main fear as well was that if EA servers can't hold up to the job, loads of people are going to be locked out of the game for something that's not their fault and something that they can't fix, personally. And it happened. Day one, the servers from, I think it was Northwest America, I'm not entirely sure, completely crashed, and people were in 3-hour queues to get into the game, and it was handled poorly. Over the past few days, they fixed it, thankfully. Things seem to be working properly, and EA have offered this apology in which someone can choose which the purchasers can choose a free game, and it seems like a good idea. I think that's the least they can do, is offer them something. But it does feel like bribery, in a sense. Like, oh, we screwed up, here, have this, and just keep quiet about it. We won't mention this again. Just enjoy the games. And I can't, okay, fair enough. A free game's a free game. I wouldn't turn that down myself. But it's sort of silencing and overlapping the main problem here, which was what happened on the launch day. So, feel free to leave your opinions on that in the comments below. Do you think that EA's made the right choice here? Do you think they are just bribing people? Let me know. And now I've got one final point to talk about, and this is something that's really important to me, especially over the past couple of weeks, and that's console exclusive games. And is it kind of an outdated system to have console exclusives? Like, with the new generation of consoles on its way, is the idea of a particular console having exclusives swaying your opinion into what you think, in what direction you think you should go? And not even in the next generation, but in the current generation too. There have been cases of series either narrowing itself down to one console or expanding outwards onto more. And I've got a good example of each here. Metal Gear Rising Revengeance was released on the 360. Up until this point, the Metal Gear Solid series has been PlayStation exclusive. And I think the fact that it went onto a new console is a great thing, because as someone who's played Xbox since the 360's release, the Metal Gear series was something I greatly admired. I'd played Snake Eater on the PS2, I'd played 2, I'd played 1, I even played the classic Metal Gear game, and I greatly admire the series, and I completely love the fact that they're expanding that out to a new audience, and I think it's a game series that really deserves to have more people enjoy it, and I was chuffed to bits that Rising came on the 360. Yeah, it's a spin-off series, and it's not quite the same experience, obviously, but it's great, and people are going to play Rising, and then they're going to see Ground Zeroes coming out, and they're going to think, oh man, I quite want that. And so I'm hoping that Ground Zeroes is across the board on all consoles, whether it comes out current gen or next gen. And then there's an example of a series narrowing down, which is Dynasty Warriors 7 Empires. It's got a niche audience as it is, and it sells on the PS3 and the 360 up until 7. The rules of the trade was always that the PlayStation got the Extreme Legends expansion game, which I was perfectly cool with, because the 360 got the base game, and then it got the Empires expansion, which is great. But with 7, it was released on the PS3 and Xbox 360. Then the PS3 got the Extreme Legends expansion pack, and then Empires was announced as a PlayStation 3 exclusive, and this crushed me. This is a game series I've played since I was about 6, and that saddened me greatly. And I actually hadn't bought 7 until nearly when Empires was announced, because I was told that I should wait for Empires anyway. But I ended up buying 7 because, fuck the man. I'll buy what I want. And I think I can't decide if this is a good or a bad move. I mean, for a game that's already a niche audience as it is, closing off what is effectively like at least a quarter of the fan base isn't a great idea. Yeah, you're cutting out having to pay more money to get it onto this other console, but you're cutting out not just your audience, but what are fans, really. The Koei Facebook page has been alight with people complaining and asking for a 360 release. And I really want it. I've been watching people play it, and it makes me sad because I can't. So, that's my opinion on. I think exclusives are an outdated system. I think it's just a cheap money-grabbing scheme in an effort to pull people away from one console and get them onto another. At the end of the day, as gamers, we should sort of stick together, and yeah, there is business competition, but leave that to the business people, I play the Xbox 360 and the PC, I've got friends that play PS3, and it's just, I think we should all get to enjoy the games that we play, and the same with 360 exclusives. I really sometimes wish that people on the PS3 could play Halo, because it's a great game series, and I think it's unfair that they don't get access to that. And that's my thoughts on the matter, that we should all get to enjoy the same things, and we really shouldn't discriminate against each other for our preferred console. And, that's my 2 pennies on that matter. And I guess that's it for today. Feel free to leave a comment with your own opinions, telling me that I'm horribly wrong and that I should burn in hell. Or subscribe if you really feel like it. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. I'll put a link for that in the description, which should be below. And I shall talk to you all again sometime soon.